you for coming. I have kind of what could be considered a poop disturber kind of question. But it's something that I think has come up, especially from my client standpoint, who are, in large part also trying to build their personal brands or trying to apply the same principles that you talked about in their business. Is the solution for everybody? And how do you know whether you should just not even trot up to the gate or whether you're ready and geared up to go?
Sure, it's a great question. I would give respect to that question.
So the truthful answer is no, it's not for everybody. The reason it's not for everybody is because at the core of publishing and putting yourself out there, and just talk about the digital side, right, is text, images, audio, video. So you have to say, do I even have a passion for any of those? One of the reasons why blogs personally have really dropped off is because when blogs came out, that's all you could do. And so people are like, I'll start a blog. But they're not writers, and so they're not thinking like writers, and they're not able to even formulate their ideas really authentically. And so it's sort of, they blog fade, they go away, or people go, oh, audio's out now, I can podcast. They try a couple episodes, and they're like, yeah, so nothing left to say. And they pod fade, and they go away. And so I believe you need to have a passion to start off with for one of those 4 types of channels. I love writing. You'll notice I'm never on YouTube. I'm never doing anything with Flickr or anything like that. I'm terrible at taking pictures and uploading them and tagging them. I know how to do it, terrible. I don't have an interest in it. I have an interest in audio and video editing. Don't have an interest in audio editing. In fact, the podcast is all live because I have no interest in audio editing. And so when you figure out which one of those 4 channels you're passionate about, then you can figure out the types of content you want to create in it. But to answer your question, no, that's obviously not for everybody. The challenge then becomes, how do you still promote yourself and put yourself out there in a way that's authentic? And so usually it can be done by commenting, adding value in other people's communities, and focus. And the reason I say the focus is because a lot of people will say, well, I only have 3 followers on Twitter. And the answer might be, your world might only be 3, like the audience might be 3. It just might be. A lot of us are just focused on the mass media. Like, how many followers? Oh, he's got 15,000 followers. It's not relevant. You might only need 6 to really have a successful life, to really build your network. So that's the other paradigm shift, is getting away from, not everybody loves me, not everybody has to love me.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
No follow-ups.
Okay, so just a quick follow-up question then. So in giving these seminars to professionals like ourselves, I think it's of value for sure. Does it not in some way sort of cannibalize the efforts that you're about to undertake by broadcasting it to everybody else? And I don't mean that in a snotty way. I just mean that by adding more voices to the mix, does it then not therefore take away from, like, it's a little kind of counterintuitive in some ways, So just wanted your perspective.
Sure. So, thanks, Drew.
So one is, too many voices a bad thing? The answer is no. And I only switched my mind on this after having a chat with David Weinberger, who was one of the co-authors of a great book called The Clue Train Manifesto. And his thing was, listen, if you want to blog about your cat and that stops you from killing your neighborhood, great, you blog. If that's going to be your gasket, you go for it. So that's an important thing, is like, people have this ability to express themselves, and I think they totally should. The output of that is, I'm no longer invited back to speak in North by Northeast, because I did a session with David Usher, there's a friend of mine, and basically what we told, because he's really good at using like Facebook and MySpace and YouTube and all this stuff to sort of pollinate his content, his music, his art. And people were like all pissed in the audience, like, I don't have a record deal and blah, blah, blah. And the real answer is, why? Is you suck. It's true. One of the things that this platform proves is that if you're really good, you get tons of traffic. It does. You get audience, you get attention, if that's what you're looking for. The really good, it's very rare I come across a blog where I'm like, how come no one discovered this? It's very rare. People are really quick at finding, discovering, and sharing the great content. And I've learned this, music industry, great content rises to the top. Always does. Audio, text, it will rise to the top. And the question becomes, is your reason for creating it for it to get to the top or not? And that's a fine, whatever your answer is, it's fine. It's fine too.